in a peaceful little Indian village, surrounded by green fields and singing birds. There lived a small baby elephant named Chotu, loved by everyone for his innocence, kindness, and curious spirit. Every morning, when the first rays of sunlight touched the clay rooftops, Chotu would walk joyfully through the dusty lanes, greeting the villagers with his playful trumpet. Children ran beside him, laughing and clapping, feeding him bananas and sugarcane. The air was always filled with happiness wherever Chotu went. He would help the farmers carry logs, push the old bullock carts when they got stuck, and splash water on the buffaloes during bad times. The village was alive with love and laughter, and at its heart was this tiny elephant who brought joy to all. But as the summer grew stronger, a dry wind began to blow across the land. The leaves turned pale, and the ponds that once shimmered under the sun slowly began to dry up. The villagers started to worry. Wells that had always given sweet, cool water now echoed hollow emptiness. The grass turned yellow, and cracks appeared in the earth. One day, when Chotu went to the pond to drink, he found it completely dry. The fish were gone, the birds had flown away, and his animal friends sat quietly, tired and thirsty. Seeing them like this broke Chotu's heart. He raised his trunk toward the empty sky and softly murmured, "Where has the rain gone? My friends need water." That night, as the stars blinked weakly through the dusty air, Chotu couldn't sleep. He thought deeply, pacing round the village under the moonlight. Then a bright idea sparked in his little mind. The next morning, he gathered all the children and animals near the big banyan tree and said, "If we all work together, we can make our own pond again. It will be hard, but we can do it." At first, everyone was surprised. A baby elephant talking about building a pond, but his enthusiasm was so pure that nobody could refuse. The monkeys cheered, the goats bleated, and the children clapped. They all agreed to help. And so, the next day, the entire village came alive with teamwork. Chotu used his strong trunk to dig into the earth, scooping out heavy soil while the monkeys picked out stones, and the children carried little baskets of mud away. The cows used their hooves to flatten the ground, and even the hens scratched around as if helping in their tiny way. The air was filled with laughter, shouts, and the rhythm of determination. Day after day, under the scorching sun, they worked together. Chotu never gave up. When the little ones grew tired, he splashed them with cool water from his trunk to make them giggle again. When someone felt hopeless, he reminded them, "Don't stop now, just a little more, and the water will come." His optimism became a light for everyone. Soon, a big, deep hole appeared where the dry field had been. But people began to call it Chotu's pond. But still, there was no rain. Chotu looked up at the empty sky, whispering softly, "Please, clouds, come back soon." And then, one evening, as the horizon turned orange, a cool breeze began to blow. Thunder rumbled far away, and the villagers looked up in surprise. The first drops of rain touched Chotu's head. He raised his trunk high and trumpeted with joy. The rain had finally come. Within moments, the skies opened and heavy rain poured down. The villagers danced, the children jumped into the mud, and the pond began to fill with fresh, sparkling water. Chotu stood in the middle of it, splashing happily while everyone cheered. "We did it! We brought the water back!" shouted the children. The pond shimmered under the gray sky, and soon, fish returned. Birds circled overhead, and the green smell of wet soil filled the air. The dry earth came alive again, but Chotu wasn't done yet. He looked at the empty land around the pond and said, "If we plant trees, this water will stay forever." So once again, the teamwork began. The villagers collected seeds, the monkeys brought young saplings from the forest, and the children dug small pits. Together, they planted hundreds of trees around the pond, mango, neem, and banyan, giving life back to the land. As the weeks passed, the village slowly transformed. The once dry and dusty place was now filled with the sound of chirping birds and rustling leaves. The pond reflected the sky like a giant blue mirror, surrounded by green shade and colorful flowers. The animals had cool places to rest, and the villagers could once again fetch water without fear. One morning, a group of travelers passed through the area. Seeing the pond, they asked, "Who built this beautiful place?" The villagers smiled and pointed toward the baby elephant playing near the water. "It was Chotu," they said proudly. "He showed us that when hearts come together, miracles happen." The travelers were amazed and told the story wherever they went. And soon, Chotu became famous across nearby villages. But fame never changed him. He remained humble, always ready to help. Whenever someone needed assistance, whether it was pushing a broken cart rescuing a stuck cat, or helping plant more trees. Shotu was there, smiling and kind as ever. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, painting the sky in orange and pink, Shotu stood by the pond, watching the reflection of the trees he had planted. A gentle breeze carried the sound of laughter from the village. He closed his eyes and thought about how everything had started. One small idea, a few helping hands, and a lot of hope. We can make anything possible, he whispered softly, if we work together and never lose faith. Fireflies danced around him as if nodding in agreement. The moon rose high, casting silver light over the pond, and the whole village slept peacefully, surrounded by the blessings of nature and the legacy of one tiny elephant's big heart. From that day on, the villagers taught their children the story of Shotu, how even a baby elephant could lead an entire village toward hope and happiness. They built a small statue of him near the pond to remind everyone that kindness and teamwork could bring life even to the driest lands. And every summer, when the first rains fell, the children would run to the pond and shout, "Thank you, Shotu!" The story spread far and wide, inspiring others to plant trees, build ponds, and take care of the earth. The moral lived on. True strength doesn't come from size or power, but from love, unity, and the courage to believe that small actions can change the world. The pond still sparkles in the heart of that Indian village, where once there was only dry land, and somewhere in the gentle wind, you can almost hear a little elephant's joyful trumpet, reminding everyone that hope is never lost as long as we care for one another.